Diego Pacheco defeated Sadjo via unanimous decision. Um, okay, he was dropped. Was he exposed? Many people are not impressed with his performance there at all. But Sadjo is very awkward though, and it proved in that fight. Very awkward, non-stop pressure, very hard to work around and move around. Um, it's just a difficult stylistic matchup, in my opinion. That's just all it was for Pacheco. I don't think he was exposed. I don't think he's a bum. I've seen too many comments saying, "Oh, Pacheco's a bum." Sadjo was undefeated going into the fight with 23 knockouts. That was 26 wins. You know, the guy's got power. He's a pressure fighter. Hard to work around. Made it messy. I mean, Pacheco was forcing a lot of clinches as well, though. But I guess he had to at times, but there were one too many clinches in that fight though. But yeah, I just think it was an awkward stylistic matchup for Pacheco, and everyone's going to be coming up against guys like Sadjo at this stage in Pacheco's career. But now it's time to push on. I just think this one he moves on with. He got the win, convincing decision. I scored it 116 to 111 to Pacheco. Look, he got dropped by a big shot. He does carry his chin high. I think that is definitely a big weakness in his game, carrying his chin too high. And especially when you're up against a guy with the kind of style of Sadjo, it's the worst possible thing to do. And Sadjo proved it right there. But Pacheco showed decent recovery, which was good. I think it was the eighth round he got dropped. He did kind of stumble a little bit again in the round after getting dropped, but from round nine again, no, he was fine. Recovery time was good, but again, it wasn't exactly a heavy knockdown. But yeah, I think as the rounds went on, Pacheco started to adjust. He started to work angles much more, which I think was better to see. And he was more comfortable in the pocket. He was the quicker man in the pocket. Um, but those bulk and overhands from Sadjo were always a threat throughout the fight, though. They were always a threat. Um, yeah, I think early on, again, Pacheco wasn't really changing angles or anything. It won't really angle work, but I think he's able to dictate you with that lead hand pretty well. Keeps that lead hand out, keeps on your face. Peppers you quite a bit. Um, and yeah, the lead hand of Pacheco is his key weapon because of how long he is for the super middleweight division. But I think many people are going to be disappointed with the performance from Pacheco, but he was never going to go in there and blast Sadjo out of there. Never in a million years. I saw too many people saying he's just going to go in and blast him out of there. That was never going to happen. Sadjo's a really tough operator, as it showed. I thought. I think 117, 110 is a bit wide. I know I scored at 116, 111, but 117, 110. It's a bit too wide, especially with the knockdown. Um, I think for Pacheco now, we just need to see the Edgar Berlanga fight. I think it's just the most relevant fight to make, to be honest. That's just what we see now, and I think Pacheco will win that fight. I think Pacheco's got that long rangey style, which I think Berlanga will hate. He hated it against Shiraz, and I feel like it's the kind of style which he'll hate against Diego Pacheco. But yeah, overall, it wasn't a bad fight. It wasn't a bad fight, that at all. I thought a lot of the time, Pacheco, yeah, he was doing the same thing a bit, but might have got a bit predictable, and that's why Sadjo was able to close the gap and be able to get his shots off because he knew he could take the power of Pacheco. He kind of did know what he was going to do, but Pacheco, I think, as I think as the rounds went on, he started to manage the range a bit more, use his footwork to try and dictate it, use his footwork well when he circled round with the jab. And again, the jab was the key weapon because it was that lead hand which was able to catch Sadjo when he was coming in. But yeah, there's not loads more to say on the fight, in my opinion. I think the fact that Pacheco did get dropped, though, I think is a big talking point, and I think is something that many people are going to speak about. But it's not that Pacheco's got a weak chin; he hasn't at all. He's Mexican. It's it's the fact that he just carries it way too high. That's the thing with Pacheco. And when you're long, when you're tall, it's not ideal to be carrying the chin as high as what Diego Pacheco carries it. And I think the defense of Pacheco hasn't fully been tested in his career. I think we all know what he's 100% capable of offensively. And we've seen, we always see a lot of Diego Pacheco's offensive game all the time, but defensive game, even Steve Nelson wasn't really fully able to crack it. And Sadjo again dropped him, but wasn't able to really fully crack the defense of Pacheco. As he goes on, and as I said, a Belanga fight next, possibly, I think that's what's got to happen. His defense will be tested, and it could be worrying times for him in there, Pacheco. But again, is a fight that I would back him to win. I think it would be the much quicker guy, put his combos together well, but again, Belanga could adjust, but I think that's definitely the fight that we have got to see happen next, definitely, in my opinion. But yeah, with Pacheco being able to beat Sadjo there, I think it moves him into a good position. I think it's a fight which people will forget over time, but there's gonna be a lot of there's gonna be a lot of criticism. There's gonna be a lot more criticism where all this is came from about that kind of performance from Diego Pacheco and how messy it was. But again, he was just up against the guy with just one of those styles in Sadjo. He's just simply got one of those bloody styles. I don't think it's something where he needs to look at himself in the mirror and just completely go back to the drawing board. He got the win, so that's the most important thing against that kind of style. Now it's time to move on to higher level now. 2026 has got to be a big year for Diego Pacheco. I think I probably said after the Steve Nelson win for him that, right, 2025's got to be a big year. But this Sadjo fight, I think, was probably a good, perfect test now with that style that he's got. And 2026, now it is time. It is time now.